Guys, over the last few weeks, I've been playing Yooka-Replaylee on PS5, and man, this game is good. If you're not familiar, this game originally came out about 10 years ago as Yooka-Laylee, and it actually has a really interesting story behind it. See, back in the 90s, there was a game development company called Rare who designed some of my favorite games of all time, particularly back in the Nintendo 64 era of gaming. They're responsible for games like GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Donkey Kong 64, and my personal favorite games of all time, Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. I got this bad boy right here. It lives on that bookshelf back there. And eventually in 2015, the original team that developed those games decided to get back together to make a spiritual successor of Banjo-Kazooie, and that's where Yooka-Laylee was born. It was a crowd-funded game on Kickstarter. I'm actually one of the original backers of the game. Like, my name is somewhere in the credits of this game. But when it finally came out, people were not happy. Let's talk about why. What's up guys, Mike here. Welcome back to the channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button for more content like this. You might notice that my set looks a little bit different. I actually just moved house and I haven't really had time to design a new set, but I was ready to shoot some videos. So this is what it's gonna look like for now. I hope that's cool. Okay, so when Yooka-Laylee was announced all those years ago, and I genuinely can't believe it's been 10 years since this game was announced. Like, honestly, that is crazy to me. I was ecstatic. I grew up loving the 3D platformer genre. I mean, as I said, Banjo-Kazooie was probably one of the first games I ever played alongside Super Mario 64. I loved Donkey Kong 64, but to be honest, Banjo-Tooie was a game that I just fell in love with as a kid. It just felt like it took everything I loved about the original game and just iterated on it and made it better. I know that's kind of a controversial take amongst, I guess, the fandom of this genre. A lot of people think Banjo-Tooie took things too far, and then Donkey Kong 64 took them even further. But I just always thought Banjo-Tooie was a great middle ground. So the fact that I loved these games, and particularly the design philosophy of Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, like the music by Grant Kirkhope was amazing and so evocative, and the way that the game worked and the voices of the characters and the fourth wall breaking at times, the characters often reference the fact that they're in a game and stuff like that. I always thought that was fantastic. And as I said, I just loved the collectathon genre as well, so it really worked for me. Yooka-Laylee finally came out and I just thought it was great. Over the years, I've seen a lot of negative criticism and feedback of this game, but I'll be honest, I never really understood that. In fact, I always thought Yooka-Laylee was pretty good. I mean, I by no means did I think it was a perfect game, but I just thought it was everything I wanted it to be personally. I thought there were some flawed mechanics, but overall, it definitely wasn't as bad as I felt that people were making it out to be. People online were making out like it was an abomination of the game, but I just personally didn't really feel that. And I got a lot out of playing it. I honestly found it so enjoyable at the time. And I kind of felt disappointed by a lot of the critics. It definitely followed the same footsteps as Banjo-Kazooie. You would go around, you would learn moves in each level, and you would complete different puzzles or tasks to earn pages, which were the jiggies from Banjo-Kazooie. You could collect quills, which were kind of the musical notes from Banjo-Kazooie, and you just sort of explored a bunch of different biomes and just discovered different puzzles and things to do. It was really fun. I think some of the mechanics were just really panned by a lot of people. The worlds were quite big, and at times I did feel kind of swamped by them and I kept losing my place. But to be honest, my biggest problem with the game at the time, and this is just probably a me specific thing, is the trophies on PlayStation were really bugged out. I'm the kind of guy who, if I'm playing a collectathon game in particular, I always try to go for 100%. It's just a thing in my mind that I just have to do everything in the game. So over the years, I've got a bunch of platinum trophies. I mean, I loved the Astrobot Platinum and the original Jak and Daxter. I've got the, I love getting platinums in collectathon games. But in Yooka-Laylee, the trophy list was just bugged out, and I got to a point where I didn't unlock a trophy that I should have unlocked, and there was no way to unlock it, and it just really irritated me, and I think I just stopped playing because of that. That's probably indicative of a wider problem with the game being buggy with flawed mechanics and stuff like that, but overall I still enjoyed it. Hey guys, just a quick interruption. Most people who watch my videos aren't subscribed. What's up with that? If you like my videos, I'd love for you to hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to grow a thing here, and every day I'm getting new subs, so if you've watched a few of my vids but you haven't hit subscribe yet, the button is right down there. You know where it is, and I would genuinely love to have you on board and along this ride with me doing Gen Z, millennial, 2000s, 90s, nostalgic, nerdy culture. So yeah, please jump on board. Okay, back to it. Fast forward 10 years and here we are getting Yooka-Replaylee, which is like almost a ground up remake of the game with revised mechanics and kind of addressing all of the criticisms that were targeted at the game when it first came out. And I have been playing it over the last few years, and to be honest, like I love it even more. Like to be fair, I do think Yooka-Replaylee is an improvement over the game. It's interesting because you no longer have to learn and unlock moves. Everything is just available to you from the get-go, which means you can kind of go around the world and solve any puzzle, any challenge whenever you want. You no longer get that feeling of like, oh, I don't have this move yet, so I can't do this specific task, so I have to come back to that later. And then you kind of have to make like a mental bookmark to come back. And to be fair, like I think getting rid of that friction is really good for this game. The other thing is there's just more to do. They've added more pages to every world and a few other just like quality of life things. I remember there is a move in the game, I think it's called the reptile roll, which in the original Yooka-Laylee, it was tied to the stamina meter. And I actually do remember getting really annoyed that I couldn't just do this all the time because it was the fastest way of getting around. Like you just run out of stamina. It's similar to Banjo-Kazooie's Talon Trot, which you could do all the time. But in Yooka-Replaylee, they've just removed that entirely. You can just do it all the time, and it does feel so much better. And I've got to say, particularly with games like Super Mario Odyssey, which have set kind of a new benchmark for what 3D platformers should be now, I think the quality of life fixes made in Yooka-Replaylee are so much better. In Mario Odyssey, and I guess also in Mario 64 back in the day, you just start and you have everything in your arsenal and you're free to just explore, look around and figure out what to do as you go. There is no roadblock or friction saying you can't do this now. And that's kind of what Banjo-Kazooie was. You would learn moves on the go, but each world didn't really have anything that you couldn't do if you didn't have the moves from that world. So it didn't feel as limiting as maybe later games did. I mean, don't even get me started on Donkey Kong 64, which made you basically play the game 5 times with each different Kong, and that was absolutely painful. I still have a soft spot in my heart for that game, but that is the worst of collectathons right there. Overall, I'm really happy with Yooka-Replaylee. I've just blitzed through it. I mean, it feels like I've spent no time at all on it, but I've probably spent like 8 or 9 hours just collecting pages and stuff, and I fully intend to collect everything in the game. I am slowly working my way through it. I cannot wait to keep playing, and I'm really happy that Playtonic, the developer behind these games, are still making games. In fact, they've actually alluded to maybe having a new project in the works, which I kind of hope is a sequel to Yooka-Laylee, showcasing everything they've learned and adding a little bit more. And of course, if they make it, it would have to be called Tooka-Laylee. Well, that is pretty much it for this one though, guys. I would love to throw it over to you in the comments. Did you play the original Yooka-Laylee? Have you played Yooka-Replaylee? What do you think? Plus, what is your favorite 3D platformer of all time? I'm still gonna say it. I think mine's Banjo-Tooie. That game just has such a special place in my heart. I know it's not everyone's favorite, but it's mine. If you like this video, YouTube thinks you might like this one here. But if you want to watch a bunch of Nintendo related videos, which is kind of adjacent to this, just check out this playlist right here. There are a bunch of videos there. That is pretty much it from me for this one. My name's InRadioMike. This has been The Inside of the Mind, and I'll catch you later.